The Wonderful 101 is a loving amalgamation of famed designer Hideki Kamiya's best work. It is Bayonetta's knowing humor, Beautiful Joe's comic book spirit, and Okami's sense of ingenuity. The game is more than a greatest hits, though, and manages to dazzle on its own merit. Thanks to the novel Unite Morph mechanic, there's never been a game quite like The Wonderful 101, despite it having the action game sensibilities of Kamiya's previous titles. In an industry where the biggest games are stifled with cynicism and an uncanny Me Too syndrome, The Wonderful 101 is an exuberant contrast, filled with all of the nonsensical whimsy of a Saturday morning anime.
The Wonderful 101! I knew we forgot someone. You.
Appropriately, The Wonderful 101's narrative is simultaneously sparse and hopelessly convoluted. In the broadest sense, it's about controlling a group of 100 heroes who are trying to stop an alien invasion. It's in the details that The Wonderful 101 goes off the rails, with names like Gethjerk, Lambo, and Ga-Gujin among the tamer titles. Ridiculous nomenclature is only a tiny fraction of the game's charm, with lip-syncing that's purposefully horrendous.
Our colleagues at the Gaia Defense Army have already activated the hyper-plasma shield that circles the planet, codenamed Margarita.
Tirelessly repeated catchphrases, and cheesy choreography akin to Kamen Rider or Power Rangers.
Do unto others. Ni. Home is where the heart is.
Unlike other action games where switching an ability comes with a push of a button, The Wonderful 101 requires you to draw your desired formation to execute the mighty Unite Morph, which transforms your group of heroes into a desired weapon. At first, you only have to worry about simple shapes, such as a circle to create a fist, or a straight line for a sword. Eventually, these shapes become more elaborate, like the line-circle combinations for the hammer and bomb. Forming the geometric figures can be done in two ways, either using the touchpad or right analog stick. Both options work, but we preferred the analog stick since we didn't have to fiddle with the stylus or divert our attention away from the action. Rather than emphasize elaborate button presses, your attacks are fairly basic with only a few variations. Complexity comes from managing your resources to maximize damage. You can either make one giant Unite Morph that uses all of your heroes, or create two, one you control and one controlled by the AI. Mixing a fist with a sword or a whip with claws yields unique results that affect each enemy differently. Rarely will the game tell you what works best, leaving room for experimentation. Considering how often The Wonderful 101 requires you to switch forms, you'll likely get flustered at first as you struggle to create consistent shapes. With practice, Unite Morph feels natural, and soon enough you'll be whipping out all sorts of things within a second or two. It's great playing a game that doesn't adhere to genre standards and requires you to master unconventional inputs. Instead of only worrying about timing, you'll also have to fret over execution, making The Wonderful 101 similar to a great fighting game. You'll earn a sense of satisfaction and relief when you draw the correct shape at just the right moment, like you would if you performed a crucial super or combo. Of course, all of that achievement would be worthless if The Wonderful 101 wasn't appropriately difficult. Multiple enemies will hammer you from all different directions as you slowly chip away at enormous life bars. Thankfully, when you die, you don't lose any progress, meaning that whatever damage you've done is kept as you're thrown right back into the fight. The way The Wonderful 101 punishes you is through its scoring system. After major battles, you're ranked on speed, the intricacy of combos, and how much damage you took. At the end of each operation, all of these rankings are added together to calculate an overall ranking. The higher your rank, the more money you earn to spend on upgrades and items. Death lowers your score significantly, especially if you've died multiple times throughout an operation. So while defeat doesn't dramatically inconvenience you, it's hard not to feel disappointed when you receive a less than stellar grade. The Wonderful 101 rewards its most dedicated players while being forgiving enough to prevent needless frustration. What does frustrate is the fixed camera, which occasionally obscures your view. It's discouraging taking damage when you don't feel like it's your fault, especially when it affects your score. Missions can also drag on. Sometimes there are natural stopping points, like a giant boss battle, but the mission will continue for another 15 minutes or so. It isn't a huge deal, but it does hurt the pacing, making you a little less inclined to immediately replay something for a better rank. These complaints do little to diminish a game that is otherwise as wonderful as the name suggests. While its action and playful aesthetic are easy to admire, perhaps The Wonderful 101's best quality is evoking a childlike innocence. The game makes tired but universal themes like honor and loyalty feel as cool as they did when you were in pajamas eating sugary cereal and staring at a glowing box. It's a kind of wild-eyed enthusiasm that rarely happens, and when it does, it should be cherished. Platinum Games has created something out of love, and the Wonderful 101 will likely inspire only more of it.
Now get!